going on, everybody? It's Joe, and welcome to some Pokemon content today. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Temporal Forces, specifically a deck that I think just got a lot stronger after the release of the set. We know that it brought about a lot of really powerful cards such as Buddy Buddy Poffin, which is a great replacement for Stage 2 decks that lost Battle VIP Pass, while still keeping the game a lot slower in terms of like EX and V decks, as well as getting some powerful supporters such as Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking, which is really great at setting up cards like Babero, Greninja, etc. But what if I told you that there's a deck that wasn't on a lot of people's radars that is supported immensely from this set? I'm talking about Tinkaton. Now, Tinkaton was a deck that genuinely was not good. Trust me, as someone that played it before rotation and before this set, it was really bad, it was really sacky. You had to play like a really horrible bricky Gardevoir engine with like the Shining Arcana and the Curlias and stuff like that, and at that point you were just playing worse Gardevoir. But now the deck actually stands alone pretty solid, and that's all thanks to the Dunsparce. Now, the Dunsparce out of Temporal Forces, as you probably know, has the Dashing Draw or Runaway Draw ability that allows it to draw 3 cards and then shuffle it and all attached cards back into the deck. This is really strong, not just at resetting your resources, but giving you a bunch of cards in hand that you can do stuff with, compared to like the Refinement Curlia engine, for example, that you had to discard and only got 2 back for. This allows you to create a continuous loop that not only gives you a lot of cards in hand for your big hammer attack, but also helps you play around cards like the dreaded Iono and Judge for the deck that you previously had to use the Melodic engine for, because now you can just sit on the Dunsparces and then just wait for them to hit you with it, and then reset your entire hand afterward. We are fortunate enough to be able to play all of these special illustration rarities because they are all the best variants of the card. So the Scrap Pickup Tinkaton is personally my favorite because while it doesn't have that 70 HP like some of the other Tinkatonks do, we aren't playing any Psychic Energy, so we can't utilize their attacks or anything, and Scrap Pickup is a really good ability, especially in a pinch where you need to grab something like a rare candy or a Great Ball, etc. Plus, the Tinkatuff here, just the one of it doesn't really matter too much because you're going to rare candy more often than not. But if you do need to set up a Tinkaton, you can, and this one has Play Rough, so you can at least attack with it if you have a DT. And then, of course, we have 3 of the original Tinkaton EX herself. Very, very strong card. I love that big hammer attack. We're also playing a single copy of the Gather Materials Tinkaton with the special hammer attack. Really powerful card. It functions as a basically better Refinement Curlia by pitching 1 to draw 3 instead, that you can set up on top of one of your Tinkatonks. And also with this special hammer attack can be a very solid 1 prize attacker, because you can use the Reversal Energy if you're lower in prize cards, or of course the brand new A-Spec Neo Upper Energy. We're maxing out on Dunsparce and Dunsparces because we want to use as many of them as possible and keep resetting them over and over and over every turn. That Runaway Draw ability is just so strong, and we play specifically the Temporal Forces Dunsparce, not only because of their free retreat cost, which is really good, but also due to the Dig attack, which can come up with a double turbo, and if you flip a coin after it and hit heads, you actually don't get any damage or effects of attacks on it, which can help you stall for a good while you set up the rest of your board. So because we're playing only special energy, we're not playing Radiant Greninja or anything like that, and the Radiant I ended up settling on was what I saw in a couple of other Tinkaton lists, which I was confused by at first, but that is Radiant Jirachi. Radiant Jirachi has the ability Entrusted Wishes that says if it's knocked out in the active zone by an attack by the opponent's Pokemon, you get to add up to 3 cards from your deck to your hand, period. And so that basically means that your opponent does not want you to get this, and they're going to try to skirt around the Jirachi as much as possible, things like bosses, bench attackers, etc. Because, I mean, they don't want you to get 3 free cards, because 99.9% of the time, that's going to set up a bunch of attacks and your entire end board and just completely obliterate them. But the problem is if they keep skirting around it, they're going to have to deal with its Astral Misfortune attack, which for a double turbo flips 2 coins, and if you hit 2 heads, you insta-KO their active Pokemon. This seems a bit niche and specific because it's like, what, a 25% chance to actually pull off, but it comes up a lot more than you may think, and I just can't count how many times on both my hands this card has won me games because I got 2 coin flips in a row and I just destroyed a 2-prizer or even a 3-prizer in some scenarios. To run off the Pokemon, we are of course playing the 1 mana fee because Radiant Greninja is still a card, and we're a Stage 2 deck and we want to protect our bench. For our supporters, we are playing the Nemona package with the 4 Nemonas and 2 Nemonas backpack. So Nemona is a very simple supporter that 99% of decks aren't going to play. Just draw 3 cards. But it's good to not only fill up your hand in this deck, but also with the Nemona's backpack, you can add up to 2 Nemonas from your graveyard to your hand, hand. So that gives you essentially just a +1, which is good for like little pinch scenarios where you really need to get that one extra card, especially when you're going against other EX decks such as Charizard. Also, it kind of just gives you always guaranteed access to a supporter, which can at least extend your plays if you didn't have anything else. We're playing 2 copies of Arizu. I was playing 3 until I bumped up the Nemona to 4 because I was playing 3 and 3, but Arizu is a very strong card by adding 3 non-rule box evolution Pokemon. You're usually just adding 3 to Dunsparces, but it can also add Tinkaton and the Gather Materials Tinkaton, which can be great for setting up your boards. 2 Boss's Orders because we want to pull things in. Morty's Conviction. This is a new card out of Temporal Forces. You discard a card to draw 1 for each of your opponent's bench. So typically you're going to use Nemona instead because they're not going to have a bunch on the bench, but if they have 4 or 5, you're just going to use this and typically actually discard a Nemona to draw a bunch of cards. We're only playing the 1 though, so you can easily cut it just for anything else. I just figured I kind of wanted to keep the 1 over that I was playing when I was playing 2, but that was just a bit too bricky. We're playing 1 Roxanne because compared to Iono, Roxanne will actually give us a lot of cards in hand. The 6 cards is already a guaranteed 180 or 160 on Big Hammer, not to mention anything else you might draw like the Dunsparces or any other ways to draw cards, and putting your opponent at the disadvantage with the 2 cards in hand is really strong. And then Miriam, it actually isn't a card I've been seeing too often in these lists anymore, but I think Miriam is a very good card because it shovels back your resources while also simultaneously being a Nemona by drawing 3. So I really like drawing into Miriam late game because this can get back my Gather Materials Tinkaton, my Tinkaton EXs, or even something like my Jirachi if I really feel like I need it. We're only playing 2 Artisans for Stadium. Some lists are playing like 3. I didn't really feel like that was necessary. A lot of decks are actually playing Artisan now or can make use out of it, so you don't want to give it to your opponent all the time, but it is pretty cool for setting up your boards over and over again. 4 the new Buddy Poffin, amazing card for Stage 2 decks, especially this deck. 4 Great Ball, so we're not playing Ultra Ball because of course we don't want to discard cards from our hand. I mean, that would suck, right? So Great Ball will more often than not hit at least something you can use, even if it's not the exact thing you need, but in late game, of course, is going to almost always get you everything you could ever want. 2 Capturing Aroma because this can search either a basic or an evolution. Most of the time it doesn't matter what you get, but sometimes it is kind of unfortunate if you hit the wrong coin flip, but not the end of the world. It's a search with no cost. 2 Nest Ball is just additional copies of Poffin really, but it can also search your Jirachi. 4 Rare Candy because the main way we're getting into our Tinkatons. 2 Switch because we have to respect the Snorlax, and also this is the only thing with a free retreat cost. We don't want to waste our special energy. 1 Super Rod, which you can easily cut the Morty's Conviction to play a second copy of, honestly, or the Miriam because they do the same thing. 1 Counter Catcher, 4 Double Turbos, 1 Reversal, and of course the 1 Neo Upper I mentioned earlier. This is the list that I've been using for the past couple of weeks now, I should say, since the season started up, and this actually climbed me all the way up into Masters on its own. It was a little bit of a struggle here and there, but I'm very proud to say that I finally hit Deoxys, and I'm kind of just sitting there right now. But with all of that being said, let's get past the list and get into some games. Moving on to our first game here, let's hope we can win the coin flip because we do want to go first, and unless they're playing like Future Box or something, which you have a good matchup against, they'll typically want to go first themselves, so we do unfortunately end up losing here. But maybe we'll be fine. Maybe they'll let us go first anyway. A lot of decks want to play their supporters on their first turn, especially things like Arven and Anytime Now. Alright, it looks like they're going first, but that took like way too long. Okay, so that is a little unfortunate. And of course we see no basics and we have to mulligan. Great. Alright, at least it was only 1 mulligan, so it's not a huge deal. And this is a pretty solid opener, not gonna lie. Just gonna place the 1 Tinkatink here. I don't think anyone's on Iron Valley and FTK anymore, not since Escape Rope got rotated out. So let's just see what they're on, especially because they want to go first. Usually it's a lot of Future Box on the ladder, and they always want to go second. Okay, looks like Chien-Pao. You have an okay matchup against Chien-Pao, especially if you can force out the Baxcalibur. But other than that, they could end up getting a little aggressive depending on how many superior energy retrievals they see, so that could be a little bit rough. Oh, so it's the Mew EX variant of Chien-Pao. I actually don't really see this too often, honestly. I thought they were going to place like the Greninja or something here, which I'm honestly kind of shocked they didn't. Maybe that's what they were trying to do, but it turns out it was prized or something. That always happens to me. So not a super cracked start from them or anything. They're not setting up like a barrel or a barrel play or anything like that. So let's go ahead and just start popping off at least do what we can. So we can go ahead and use a double Poffin to go for some pretty nasty stuff. I'm going to go for triple Dunsparce because we already have a Tinkatink here in hand. And that honestly should be pretty fine because if we lose this Tinkatink, it's not the end of the world, right? We just gotta watch out for like a canceling Cologne play, but I don't know if they can set all that up off of just the cards in their hand. Don't think I want to go for a scrap pickup play or anything like that because it's a little too risky. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass turn here. Literally the most basic, simplistic setup possible. We didn't even see a support or anything going second, which is a little rough. But if we keep this hand, we should be fine. We do have Capturing Aroma, which can tag out into a Tinkaton EX if we get a heads. We have at least one Dunsparce, which can start popping off with our plays. And we have like the full Tinkaton EX line, actually, so it would be really, really good if we do end up seeing more Dunsparces, and if we see the Tinkaton EX off the Capturing Aroma. So they do search Irida off of Luminion V here. Basically just going to search the rare candy Baxcalibur probably, right? They just kind of need that to do anything. Okay, so it's actually Baxcalibur and Prime Catcher, so I'm probably going to get smacked with a Manaphy getting killed here, because that's like the only thing they'd really want a Prime Catcher here, right? It's unfortunate, too, because we can't really disrupt our opponent's hand in this deck because we aren't playing any Ionos or anything like that, other than using our Roxanne, which usually happens in the late game, so when we see something like that Prime Catcher, there's not too much we can end up doing there. So we are seeing the Super Cold being used here. We're definitely losing this Tinkaton here, unless, like I said, they want to like get the Manaphy away, which I'm not sure if they'd want to do that because they haven't even set up a Greninja. They are attaching to the Luminion. Doesn't that just, like, bounce it? Or, like, shuffle it into the deck or something. It does 120 and shuffles it. Okay. So we do lose the Manaphy, which is a little annoying. But we should be fine, honestly. And that does get their Luminion back into the deck, which is interesting. But yeah, I think we're chilling, honestly. We're completely chilling. I'm going to put in a Dunsparce, though, because that free retreat cost being really, really good. And we top deck another Dunsparce. Not, like, super amazing, honestly. But let's go ahead and go for our first Dunsparce here before we use our Capturing Aroma. We do see more basic setup. The problem is we don't want to see basic setup. We want to see, like, actual evolution setup. Okay, cool. We at least saw something there. So could we kill through this? If we go 1, 2... It's going to be 1, 2, 3... Yeah, no, we definitely are nowhere close to killing that, Mew if we end up going for a Tinkaton right off the bat. So I think I'm going to go for more Dunsparces, and I'm just going to keep trying to climb and see if we can see a Tinkaton this way. Okay, so unfortunately we do not. We might have to go for a Miriam here just to dig for some more stuff. Yeah, so Miriam does come up at least in like certain scenarios like this. Okay, that's actually really, really good. Awesome. Because we get both our Tinkaton EX and our regular Tinkaton here now. And we should be able to kill this Mew. So let's go ahead and rare candy twice here, and we can at least get our Manaphy back if we choose to. I'm going to go ahead and retreat into this Tinkaton EX and attach the double turbo. And currently we would be doing 160, but we can discard a card, probably going to go for the Nest Ball. Unless, do I want to kill this Mew EX, or do I want to try and kill this Chien-Pao? I think I want to try and kill the Chien-Pao if I can. I think that would be really, really good. So maybe we can try and Great Ball into another Dunsparce? Awesome. That is perfect. So a lot of this deck is a little RNG based, if you couldn't tell. So it is unfortunate sometimes, but we're perfectly fine. We're perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and Runaway Draw. And we do 280 right now. If we force in this Chien-Pao, we are doing 250, meaning we can use one more card. And I'm going to use that to put 2 more Dunsparces in off a Buddy Buddy Poffin. And I'm going to go ahead and KO this Chien-Pao. We don't get all this set up because we do have to keep cards in hand. Sometimes that can happen, but we are in the prize lead now. We've gotten rid of 1 Chien-Pao as well as 2 energy. So we are in a pretty good spot. Seeing Morty's is really good too if he sets up anything else. The Artisan, not so much, because that means he's just going to set up more Frigibaxes and stuff like that. But otherwise, this is a really good spot. I was just about to say, I hope they don't set up like a Greninja play and snipe my Dunsparces. That would suck, but unfortunately, that is what's happening. So concealed cards, drawing 2 more. Probably going to see a Shivery Chill, and there's the Irida for the Superior Retrieval. Very unfortunate. Didn't even use Shivery Chill for the deck thing. Wow, that sucks. But at least their A-Spec is out of the way. 2 Iridas out of the way. 1 of the candies. We have, yeah, exactly 4 energy in there. We have a Luminion that can search for follow-up. Superior Energy Retrieval. That's going to go ahead and add all those back. Definitely setting up a Greninja here if he can. There's the Arctibax out of the way at least, so they have to rely on candies unless they super rot it back. But yeah, this is going to be a little unfortunate. See, if we had 1 more card in hand, we could have at least Poffined for the Manaphy as well. Or maybe I should have just set up a Dunsparce and a Manaphy. That is on me. I did shuffle it back, so I knew I could have done it at least. Oh, just straight up trying to kill the Tinkaton. I'm actually fine with that compared to, like, actually killing my Dunsparces. So this is actually fine because we're going to go back into the prize lead on the next turn, and I'll show you how. So we're going to go ahead and draw for turn here. I want to go ahead and go Buddy Buddy Poffin, placing the Manaphy and a Dunsparce, and then I'm going to bench the Tinkatink in my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to retreat this Dunsparce into the little Tinkaton. This is why I said that Tinkaton can be a very good one-prize attacker, because now we can go ahead and boss in that Mew EX. We could also go for Baxcalibur, which I think I might do instead, because he has no Frigiback setup or anything like that. Don't need to place any of these. I think I might go ahead and... No, there's no need to gather materials or anything like that. I should be fine with what I have. I don't want to get ionoed. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and Special Hammer kill this Baxcalibur. He has no other Baxcalibur setup. He can't do any damage next turn, and that is going to be awesome. So we're not going to go in the prize lead like I thought I was going to, because I was going to go for the Mew EX. Very good prize card, by the way. But I'd rather just get rid of the Baxcalibur and prevent anything from happening instead of just taking 2 prizes and getting shit on next turn. And it looks like they conceded. Awesome. Yeah, when you lose your Baxcalibur and you have no way to set one up, it's just really rough for Chien-Pao players. Again, I'm surprised he didn't go for a Greninja play. I would have done something. Alright, we've got another game here. Let's hope we can win the coin flip this time. It'd be a lot better if we could go first. Awesome. With my luck, they're just going to end up playing Future Box, because it feels like that's what happens every time I actually choose to go first. But you have a really good Future Box matchup, like I mentioned, because while you do lose a Pokemon, you just start absolutely hammering on them next turn. Okay. Admittedly, this is not a great start. They don't have to mulligan either, so we don't get to get any extra free cards. Hopefully we can see it popping off the top, otherwise this might be a quick one, y'all. Or at least, like, something off this Great Ball, because this is rough. Even a Jirachi would be decent off the Great Ball. And it looks like the matchup is Torterra, which is interesting. I actually really like the Torterra deck. So we do see a Dunsparce, that's something, and unfortunately we don't see a Tinkatink. Awesome. I was hoping to see at least a Dunsparce and a Tinkatink here, but I think that honestly this is all we're going to be able to do. Like I said in the last game, this deck can be very sacky, very luck-based. So you can end up bricking out of your ass, or you can draw like the most perfect hand ever. And it looks like this isn't just like Torterra period, this is like the Torterra Evolution Turbo. Probably playing like the Silcoon line and stuff like that, the Wurmple, the Caterpies. This deck is sick, by the way. I really like the Turtwig line. All of the cards are really good too. This Solid Shell makes it harder to kill. You have the Grottle, which is just nuts, because all of them can just search more stuff, especially with the Evo he's probably about to set up. And then you have the Torterras themselves. Very bulky, both can hit decently hard, especially the Evo Press one. That can hit for like, what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, I think? That's crazy. But yeah, it looks like we're just going for a TM evolution play. I'm fine with that. That just gives me like a whole extra turn to set up as well. He will definitely be getting the Torterra set up on the next turn, but this is one of the few decks that can like actually one-tap the Torterra depending on how the hand goes. We just have to wait an extra turn to actually set up our stuff, unfortunately. Okay, so we have the Toedscruel EX Lie with a Protective Mycelium. This actually works against Jirachi, which is unfortunate, but I think otherwise we should be fine. So I think Nemona's more gambly than a Rizu here, because we can go ahead and go a Rizu, grabbing 2 Dunsparces and a Tinkatuff just for later, and this is going to get us 6 draws as opposed to the 3 Nemona would have gotten us. And while it does get rid of our Dunsparces that are set up, that's kind of like their whole point. So we're going to try and see things like Poffins here. That would be awesome if we could see a Poffin. No Poffins in chat, wow. So we have to rely on using this Nest Ball and probably the Capturing Aroma and the Great Ball to actually do anything. Probably going to try and get 2 Tinkatinks on board, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and go for 2 Tinkatinks on board, just in case. Not going to attach any energy, just in case, either. No, I'll attach an energy. I feel like that's safe. Great Ball, we do at least see a 1 Dunsparce, that's pretty good. We have a Tinkatuff for the next turn. Okay, this isn't so bad. I could have also went for like a Jirachi and then swapped it out with a Manaphy, but I don't think they go for the bench anyway. I'd say correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all can't speak to me right now, but they're definitely going to get some pretty cool plays going on right now. We have a second Grottle hitting the board. Both of these can search for any Grass-type Pokemon. Really strong cards, honestly. Gonna suck when they rotate next year. Alright, so we're grabbing the Radiant Venusaur. I didn't even know Venusaur had a Radiant. What? Let's see, we got Sunny Bloom. Once at the end of your turn after you attack, you may draw until you have 4 in hand. That's okay. Then we have this other Grottle searching, probably for the Torterra here, maybe? No, another Turtwig, okay. So they feel like they know, or I feel like they know that they can take their time, which is good for them for sure, because they definitely know that my setup isn't amazing right now. So we're discarding a third Grottle. Okay, so he definitely feels like he has enough setup. And then we're Ultra Balling as well, so this will get the Torterra? Maybe? There it is. Yeah, it's like, I think 60 per grass type, or something like that. Oh, no, it's 30 per grass type, right? Yeah, because it does like 180 tops. But that can actually one-tap a Charizard. Oh, really? Not evolving. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we do see Tinkaton, at least. The problem is we have, like, no candies or anything. Alright, well, there is our Buddy Poffin, at least. That can get us 2 more Dunsparces. That's really good. Deck thin a little bit here. And then we're going to go ahead and runaway draw. Hope we can see a rare candy here. No rare candy once again. Very unfortunate. I'll just evolve this Tinkaton, or Tinkaton into a Tinkatuff. And then I don't really want to give them the Artisan that badly, but I kind of have to if I want to get maximum value by going for a Dunsparce here. So we have 3 Dunsparces set up, which is really good. And I think I'm not going to attach this time. I'll just keep having Manaphy sit there and take the brunt of whatever's coming to her, poor thing. So they have the Torterra now. They can go Torterra onto this Grottle. It's probably why they waited, because they didn't want to switch or try to like waste time retreating this one. They're getting 2 more Grass-type searches, probably for a 4th Grottle if they still have one. Yep, awesome. So that's going to get 2 searches off of these ones on the bench. And then we have the Torterra that's going to come. They're going to KO the Manaphy, and they're going to start taking the first prize cards. But I think next turn, I can definitely start killing things. Maybe even the Torterra EX itself, depending on what I draw off this Dunsparce and what I draw for turn. We have a Hisuian Lilligant V here. Draw until you have 6. Isn't this like just a beefed up version of that one Cleffa? Like the 30 HP Cleffa? Ooh. Okay. So this is where you might see the deck start to fall apart, because this is where things get really, really bad when you get judged or ionoed. We might lose this one, folks. And we're getting Prime Catchered. Okay. So, things are a little rough. They're a little rough. But hey, we have a candy here. We can do something, maybe. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Maybe there's a silver lining somewhere. You can go ahead and candy into this. We can gather materials, discard Dunsparce, we'll shuffle it back off Miriam. Okay, actually we'll Arizu instead. Okay, so this might actually be genuine hell for us here. If we can see Jirachi, that'd be cool. Because at least if that dies, we can get some value. There's no way that Dunsparce just drew into 3 straight rare candies. There's no way. Okay, so we did get heads here. I was kind of open for tails, but heads should be fine. As long as we don't get judged again, so we can actually get our Tinkaton EX set up. But let's go ahead and go for 1 more to Dunsparce. Runaway draw here. Okay, so there's the Neo Upper. Sucks, because the Force March can kill that too. It's gonna kill anything anyway. We can try and Dunsparce here. Yeah, let's try and do that. Let's try and go for Dig, because I don't think the Protective Mycelium matters for Dig. And maybe we can hit the heads here? Cool, okay. So the Dunsparce at least can't die, which is good. But he has 2 Grottles live that can be searching continuously for more grass types and thinning his deck, and I really don't like that. Plus, I'm probably gonna get bossed with my luck. There's the Hisuian Lilligant VStar. You can search for up to 5 of any combination of grass energy and Pokemon. Really, really good. And it puts the energy back into hand to do 230. That's really solid. There's another Torterra EX, so no more searching off the Grottle at least there. But that is another Torterra that can be punching for some good damage. That one's getting bounced now. Interesting. Putting in the new one, guess they just don't feel like getting hit with that extra 10 damage there. I guess it is a good way to, like, recycle it. Unfortunately, it doesn't attach all the cards attached, right? For Professor Suros? Yeah, because it's not the other one that bounces a basic. So we have the Star Perfume here, grabbing 5 of any grass Pokemon and or grass energy. Crazy ability there. A lot of V-Star powers are just nuts. So there's the Evo Press one. That's the one that's kind of scary. Alright, so we're going for another Torterra EX instead of the Evo Press one, which is interesting. Then we have another Turtwig here. Yeah, see, the Protective Mycelium doesn't work for that because it's this card being affected, not the opponent's Pokemon. So, we do see a Counter Catcher. I don't think that's, like, super important. Let's go ahead and Rare Candy into Tinkaton EX here. And now here's where things can start getting really, really fun. So we currently do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 damage, but we can get a lot more as we start going for stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat into Tinkaton EX. I'm that confident. And I'm going to go ahead and attach the Neo Upper Energy. And then I'm going to go ahead and Runaway Draw. If we can see more Deduns, that would be awesome. Okay, not quite. We can go ahead and Tinkaton here. Probably pitching this Tinkaton EX so I can just shuffle it back off of Miriam. Again, that's a no to the Dunsparces, but we can definitely Miriam here. We can already one-tap the Torterra. We can already one-tap it. I don't want to use that because I don't have any targets. But let's go ahead and shuffle back the Tinkaton, a Tinkatink, the Dunsparce, and the Tinkatuff. See, Miriam's just so good because you can shuffle back so many, and then you still get a draw 3, which is really strong. I don't think anything but an Evo Press Torterra can one-tap the Tinkaton EX, but I still don't think I want to take any chances here. So other than that, the counter catcher is not going to be super important, so let's go ahead and Big Hammer, KO this Pokemon that to most decks would otherwise be almost unkillable, at least in one turn, and take the 2 prize cards here. So another Tinkatink and a Nest Ball. I can get us a Jirachi at least if we want to do anything. To a non-energy attached Pokemon, of course, due to the Protective Mycelium. There's another Torterra EX right here. We can definitely see the Evo Press Torterra this turn, most likely. Okay, so we have a Grottle there. We have 2 in the discard. I swear they were already used already. They must have been bounced. I just wasn't paying attention. So Grottle can search for another thing here. At least the VStar power is out of the way. I know a lot of the cards in their hand are just energy, so I'm not too worried about that. And we get Iono. Great. Okay, so this actually isn't bad. So there's another showcase why the Dunsparce engine is just so good. Because we saw 2 Dunsparces here, we can actually still do a lot of stuff next turn, because this is 3, 6, 9, 12 draws, which will be enough to kill the Torterra EX, which is really good. Yes, we're getting hit with the Forest March here. They do 180, but the bad thing about the Torterra EX is that while it is tanky, it's not doing a lot of damage. But now, it's showtime. Let's go ahead and go for 2 Dunsparces, and this is cool because it'll put back the double turbo as well. Let's go ahead and draw 3 off of Nemona. Let's go ahead and Runaway Draw here, drawing 3 more, shuffle back the Dunsparce, and then we'll go for probably an Artisan here to place another Dunsparce, the one that we just shuffled back. And it's really good because this doesn't actually waste a card in our hand. We'll go for another Dunsparce, shuffle back, draw 3, and we get our double turbo back into the deck, and we can already almost one-tap it, but let's go ahead and go Tinkaton here, pitching the Nemona for the Gather Materials, and drawing 3 more cards. We do 390 here, so let's go ahead and evolve, probably just into a Tinkatuff here. Don't think we have to go for like a super sweaty play. I also don't need to waste my backpack, I don't think. Okay, no. I do need to use the backpack, but again, great showcase of why the Nemona engine is really good. Sometimes you just need that 1 extra card in hand to go for the kill, which I'm definitely going to go for here. I almost attached an energy to Tinkatuff here, which would have been bad. But another 1-tap on the Torterra EX, taking another 2 prize cards, and next turn, depending on the scenario, we might be able to boss in the Toedscruel or the Lilligant and go for a kill there. Probably going to see the Torterra now, the Evo Press one. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not even sure if they're playing the rare candies, because Grottle is just so good. If they are, they might be just playing 1. I know they're playing Arven, so it's definitely something they could search. Okay, I randomly showed a blank card, but this is Shaman. Does 60 to one of your opponent's benched EX or V? That's fine. That's not an issue at all. And it looks like they're conceding. Okay, yeah, they realized that there wasn't too much they could do. Even if they, unless they had like Iono or Judge, even if they killed the active Tinkaton and took 2 prizes, I would just put in the Tinkatuff, attach another double turbo, and then just start popping off and force in a EX and kill it. All right, we got one last game here that I want to showcase. We got the opponent calling the coin flip. What are they going to call? Heads. Okay. Tails, 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 tails. Sometimes, again, people just will make you go first anyway, even if they're not playing Future Box or anything like that. Okay, so they did get heads. But, like, even if they're not playing Future Box, a lot of people just want to use Arven for Team Evo. Personally, for, like, my Guardies deck, I'm trying to go second a lot. Yeah, see, they're making me go first. I'm trying to go second a lot so I can set up Arven plays and stuff. But let's see. Okay, so more Chien-Pao. So actual Chien-Pao sleeves might mean Chien-Pao, which would kind of suck to get the same deck twice, but I mean, not the end of the world. And, okay, so we have an unfazed fact Snorlax. That means it's most likely Lugia. So that could be a problem. So Lugia is a really bad matchup for this deck. The Chinchinos just absolutely fucking slaughter you, and it ends up being really, really rough. And speaking of really, really rough, oh my god, this sucks. I suppose I might just grab a Dunsparce for the next turn and just call it a day? Yeah, so at least Lugia can't, like, kill anything on the first turn, but why would they make me go first is the interesting thing, if they are on Lugia. Weird. Not gonna touch any energy just in case. Maybe some other decks play the Unfazed Fat Snorlax, but that's, like, the only deck I know is Lugia. Yeah, so it is Lugia here. They are benching a V. That's so strange. Maybe they just really want to use a supporter like Explorer's Guidance or something? Because, like, otherwise Lugia typically wants to go first so they can start playing super aggressive on turn 3. So they do get an Archeops there. Capturing Roma, probably for another one, and then they're probably going to Ultra Ball because they always seem to have it. Yep, exactly what they're going to do. That's crazy. I swear, Ultra Ball pitching 2 Archeops is like the standard Lugia line at this point. Probably getting a Minccino, right? Something to set up. Maybe. Unless they're confident and they get the VStar right off the bat. Yeah, getting a Minccino here. It's so funny seeing Ultra Ball be used for, like, little baby Pokemon. Probably passing turn from here, right? Attaching a Mist Energy to Minccino. And there's an Iono. Okay. I mean, my hand wasn't super great, but it was at least playable. Like, come on. This hand sucks. We still see 2 Nemona anyway. We literally drew 2 Nemona off the top after putting 2 Nemona on the bottom. Great Ball into another Minccino that's even more set up. Yeah, this is gonna be a rough run. That Iono definitely just completely fucked me over. Okay. Alright, so there's a Great Ball at least. Let's go Nest Ball, hopefully. Unfazed Fat prevents the effects of attacks, right? So going for Jirachi would not be a super ideal play. Maybe it would. I think I'm gonna go for Jirachi. Just in case. Let's go ahead and Nemona draw 3 as well. Okay, so no, like, not Tinkaton. Well, Tinkaton Gather Materials have been nice too, but, like, no Dunsparce or anything. Great Ball, maybe? Okay. There's a Dunsparce. We can probably, like, at least see a Buddy Pop in here or something, right? That would be cool. Go to Dunsparce, draw 3. Wow. Okay. This sucks. I don't want to Artisan because I don't want to give them extra stuff. That's, like, the really big problem. Every time I Artisan my Lugia opponents, they're just getting free stuff. They're getting the Barrel Engine, they're getting Minchinos, they're getting Snorlaxes. Man, that's so frustrating, but I have to. I literally have. There's nothing else I can do, and I want to get value. I hate this matchup. I don't even have any energy. I can't even scrap pick up a Great Ball or anything. That sucks. At least if they don't have a switch, they might have to do, like, a lot of digging for energy or digging for a switch card, or committing a lot of stuff, I should say, with the Archeops for the Snorlax. Because that's, like, both Archeops having to target it, unless he has one in hand, so he can use a double turbo and one, and then the one from hand and use the Archeops on, like, the Chinchino or something. Okay, so they get Jacques here. Jacques is really good for grabbing Archeops, by the way, really nuts. Might be another reason why they're blinding second. Yeah, get the Lugia V-Star and the Chinchino for absolutely free. It's so nuts. Also, Jacques is probably what this deck's going to pivot to once Orizu rotates next format. You'll probably just add Jacques instead. It's also unfortunate I didn't have a switch card, because I could have at least put Jirachi in, and if he would have killed it, I could have at least started popping off and playing. But even then, these Chinchinos are just little demons. Like, any deck with a big, like, 2-prizer or 3-prizer, gone. You're dead. I promise the setup is usually not this bad. Like, all 3 of my games, my setup has been, like, really mediocre in the beginning. Usually it's not this bad, even if it is a little sacky. So we actually must have a switch or something in hand, right? No, we're just doing a bunch of setup instead. That could be good for me, you know, if I didn't keep seeing dead supporters. Oh my god. Ooh, this sucks. Let's go ahead and bench a Dunsparce at least. Nemona drawn to Duns, maybe? Not quite. Okay, let's go ahead and pop in and maybe Great Ball into a Dodon. You know, that'd be really cool. Maybe into a... Ooh, the Gather Materials Tinkaton could be good too. I'm gonna go for the Gather Materials Tinkaton. I'm gonna put this on my benched one. That could actually be really good or, like, really bad. You know, whatever. Let's gather materials. Let's pitch the Nemona. Draw 3. Okay, so we at least see a Dunsparce. That can start helping us pop off, depending on what we see here. We need a Tinkaton EX, and we need an energy. The problem is that we're just going to get return killed next turn, and we're going to lose the prize game, and no way our draws are this bad. Okay, I gotta put Jirachi in. I have to. Oh my god. At least we saw a switch for the Jirachi, but wow, my luck is horrible today. Okay, so we have a max belt on the Chinchino. Definitely wasn't needed. And we're getting Iono'd. We lose our rare candies in hand. Oh, man, I'm starting to get angry. Attaching a double turbo from hand to Snorlax, probably going to Archeops attach to, and then retreat with it, unless he just straight up kills the Jirachi with it, which, I mean, would be good for me, because then I could at least go, like, Candy plus Tinkaton plus, like, another Dunsparce or something. But, yeah, it's just going to be really, really rough here, dealing with these Chinchinos. We don't have any bench snipers or anything. And, wow, we're just dodging again. They're good at this. They know not to give me anything. Alright, Lady Luck, let's put ourselves to the test here again. Let's go ahead into Dunsparce, grabbing 3. We did shuffle with the Artisan at least. We see another Dunsparce. That is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and put that on. Draw 3 again. There's the candy. Alright, can we Capturing Aroma hit the heads, though, is the question. We can. Awesome. We can at least do something. Let's go ahead and get this Tinkaton EX in hand. The problem now is we might have to wait because of the switch. I'm not sure if we'll see a switch, and that could be bad. So, update. We did not see a switch. Awesome. And I don't want to attach anything or evolve anything, because I'm probably just going to get killed with a boss's orders if I do. Awesome. It's this unfaced fat that's really messing with me. Like, usually I would at least attach an energy to Jirachi and try killing the thing in the active spot. But I just can't, because the unfaced fat means that I can't use the Astral Misfortune. And there's the bosses, see? If I would have evolved into the Tinkaton EX, I would have been dead. I would have just been completely fucked. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use a Thumping Snore for a perfect 140. At least the Snorlax goes to sleep. That's pretty good, and it has to flip 2 coins. I'm gonna go ahead and just place in the Dunsparce here. So we can at least go for our Tinkaton EX here, but again, big problem, we can't really do anything about these Chinchinos right now. So what we could do is we could try to go for a play with bosses. We could at least boss in an Archeops and make them have to have something in hand if they want to one-tap a Tinkaton, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing here. Can't do it on that one, idiot. But let's go ahead and just hope we see one of our bosses. Okay, there's one. Cool. We can at least do a pretty sick play that way. Let's go ahead and attach our double turbo, and finally go for our rare candy into our Tinkaton EX. So many turns into the game. We can also Artisan for a free Dunsparce directly from the deck, so we can get more setup for the next turn. I'm going to keep this Tinkatink here, perfectly waiting for another Tinkaton EX. We are going to boss in one of these Archeops, because that's one of the only ways I really know how to deal with Lugia, is to just keep bossing in their Archeops and just killing them. And I think because we can already kill, just in case we get hit with something like an Iono or a Judge, I'm going to go ahead and keep all these things in my hand, and I'm just going to Big Hammer kill this Archeops here. Another Tinkaton EX off the prizes is really good, actually, because we already have a setup for a rare candy, double turbo, and a Tinkaton EX. See, it sucks, though, because we just lost our good one prizer, and Tinkaton Gather Materials is, like, really, really good in this matchup, because it can at least kill the Chinchinos or the Archeops without being a 2-for-1 trade. And, oof. Yeah, even if he didn't have a thing in hand, it wouldn't have mattered because the maximum belt. Because it's 7, 14, 21, 28 plus the 50, it would have already been enough to kill. But at least he's kind of wasting energy here by attaching more. Yep, alright, there's the special roll. We lose the Tinkaton here. Really unfortunate. Depending on if we have our Neo Upper in the deck, though, we could be fine. Could be. Just saying. Alright, Counter Catcher is really good if we do. Ooh. Because, I mean, we can also use Roxanne and really mess with him. That could be really good. Let's Artisan to check. If we have it, that'll be so sick. Or Reversal Energy. We have the Reversal Energy. Bare minimum. Oh, wait, shit, I can actually use this. For another Tinkatink. I definitely want to use it for another Tinkatink this time. Alright, so I have a game plan. It involves using the Super Rod to shuffle back just these 3. It's fine. We want to get that Gather Materials Tinkaton again. And we can get it off the Arizu, but I'd rather use Roxanne. But the plan is a little greedy. We might be fine, though. Ooh, this is... I'm scared. I'm scared. Let's go ahead and Runaway Draw. Alright, there's the Reversal Energy. That's part 1. I'm risking it. We're balling. And then we go ahead and Runaway Draw again. Okay, unfortunate. We don't see it. So we will have to use the Arizu in order to search for it. Ah, man, I was hoping I wouldn't have to. Let's go ahead and go Buddy Buddy Poffin, though. Let's place a Dunsparce, and then let's place another Dunsparce. Yeah, the goal was I was trying to, like, use this to OTK, or not OTK, like, bring in the Archeops, force that out for the one prize. I can still do that, but I wanted to Roxanne at the same time, but I will have to go for an Arizu instead. So we're forcing in the Archeops here, and we're going to go for a special hammer. No more ways to get the Archeops on board. We're going to have to keep hard attaching things from hand, which is really good for us. Next turn, we can also Roxanne them. There's our Narrow Upper, actually, which is pretty cool. We are going to lose the Tinkaton here, either to the Chien-Pao or the Lugia VStar. Yeah, even here, the special roll already kills just with the 2 energy attached. It's crazy. Chien-Pao is just absolutely nuts. Looks like their Great Ball whiffs, at least. So that's pretty fortunate. Again, we are going to lose this Tinkaton here. It is going to suck. But we will have to try and go for, like, a boss play on this Chien-Pao to try and kill that. Pitching 2 more Archeops late game. There's the 3rd Chien-Pao. That could be rough depending on what all they have left. I know they probably have a bunch of special energy still left. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This might actually be almost all of their special energy, now that I think about it. Switch one of your opponent's bench view with their active. Okay, I don't play any Vs. Discard to draw things. We might actually be in this. Collapse Stadium. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of Jirachi. I don't care. All right, we lose the Tinkaton here. Perfectly fine. I am completely fine with this. We're going to set up another Tinkaton EX. All right, we can go ahead and replace this Collapse Stadium with another Artisan just so we can get more stuff. And I am going to go ahead and Artisan into another Tinkatink because I want to set up another Tinkaton if I can. So we have 3 rare candies already used. I should have checked if I had any more. Ooh, this could be rough, actually. If I don't have another rare candy, I think I just straight up lose. I mean, fuck it. We ball. We should be fine. We should be fine. Let's go ahead and go Runaway Draw. I wanted the Roxanne, but I kind of have to go for a Bosses if I really want to survive. Okay, so we see another Dunsparce. That's really good. Let's go ahead and Capturing Aroma to deck thin a little bit more and see if we have that rare candy. Okay, we do have the rare candy. That's actually good. That means we basically guarantee to draw it. Had to go through like every card in the deck, but it's worth it. Again, next turn we can Roxanne. That'll be pretty huge depending on what they go into, if they go for like the Lugia or something. And we're going to simply just Big Hammer here, kill this Chien-Pao, take something from our prize cards. I'm so glad that the rare candy wasn't one of the prize cards. We have gone through all 4 though, which could be a little rough because I do want to set up another Tinkaton EX, which I can if I'm given enough turns, but I could be hit with things like Boss's Orders, which could be really annoying. Oof, so that's 210 damage off this Chien-Pao right off the bat. I don't like that. Okay, so we're just straight up using the special roll here, doing the 210. Again, really don't like that. There's some things I can do. There are some things. I think one of those things involves hitting with the Dunsparce and hoping. Oof, that's so sacky. So sacky. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and Roxanne them. Maybe try to slow them down a little bit. Not sure how much it's gonna work, though, is the problem. Alright, let's go ahead and switch. Let's throw in Dunsparce. And it's coping time. Can we hit the heads? Well, gamers, it's been an honor. But they probably have Boss's Orders. Even after the Roxanne. Oh, well, they didn't. We're still probably gonna lose, though. If at first you don't succeed, dig fail again. Well, that is all the time I have to showcase Tinkaton today. We got some pretty good matches in, and we did get that unfortunate matchup against Lugia VStar. Again, it is probably your worst matchup, period, even worse than, like, Pidgeot Zard, who can search Iono, by the way, every turn. But it's just so bad because the Chien-Paos are just so aggressive, and unless you can stop them from getting the Lugia VStar in the first place to set up the Archeops, it's gonna be really rough for you. Other than that, though, it has some pretty solid matchups overall against the meta. You have a really good future box matchup, again, because you can just start popping off, and it's going to be very, very hard for them to get a maximum prize card value out of you, because Iron Hands has a really hard time dealing with a Tinkaton EX. And then you also have the Barrel Charizard matchup. You kind of just stomp there, because you can one-tap the Charizard super easy, and they can't constantly search for everything they need. They have to kind of draw it, like, reliably off the Barrel. As you saw, the Chien-Pao matchup isn't too bad, especially if you can snipe that Baxcalibur, but that kind of goes for, like, anything against Chien-Pao, to be fair. And I mean, hell, even your Lost Box matchup is pretty good, because even if you're not playing Jirachi or anything, you can easily stall out by just not placing your Dunsparces late game against Sableye once you see they start going for it. I've done that so many times where I just keep only the Tinkaton on board, and unless they have Roaring Moon or Tina in the list, they're not going to have a great time against it, because it takes 3 Cramorant punches just to kill it, and that's not including you drawing things such as Boss's Orders. And a lot of Lost Box players will just run out of resources way before that you can actually kill the Tinkaton EX. Do I think it's like a super meta deck or anything like that? No. Do I think it's going to see a bunch of regional tops even? No. But I think that the deck is surprisingly competent, especially compared to the spot that it was in before. Absolutely a deck you can take to locals, and that I actually have taken to locals, and you can probably see some really good success there with it, especially if you are blessed with some decent pulls and good coin flips. But that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. If you like it, please sure leave a like, as well as put this video and the channel into the YouTube recommended. And if this content was more like it, like more Pokemon content, which I will be doing throughout the month of April and maybe even May, because the new Tenpai support looks really bad for Yu-Gi-Oh players, then perhaps consider subscribing and turning on notifications, because it supports the channel more than anything else, and it's absolutely free. Plus, we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. And just let me know in the comments below, those of you that are normal viewers of the channel for the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, let me know if you are interested in seeing more Pokemon stuff. Maybe I can become more of a diverse card game channel. Also, we're supporting directly with getting some awesome TCG merchandise in the process. Check out Tapio cards in the link down below. Use code Aurora5 for 5% off your purchase at checkout, and support me financially. It's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh merch, but they do have things for other card games as well. But once again, thank you all so much for watching, and see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.